So let's export this out and go over a couple of different options we have. And I'll grab it all together. This is in the family now. You'd probably want to take it from your project. Or actually, let's change a few parameters so you can see that the geometry that comes out here is actually really, really clean. Oh, it's twice. Alright, so I'll select this object. I think I might need to take it to a project. Just means it's thinking pretty hard. Goes white like that. Come on. Should I try to open another program? Kill it once and for all. There we go. So let's load this into our project. Alright, so we'll just take this thing, or we'll take the whole scene and export it out. Oh, actually another thing to do, kind of to do two things here once. In Revit you also have what's called a section box. It's a way to quickly crop an object in 3D. It's great for making drawings. You can put it on sheets, you can do lots of different things with it. And you bring it up in your viewport properties, which is either VP or right click view properties. And we're going to want to turn on our section box. So now we have this box that we can pull and start to chop up our models. If you go to coarse, it pochets the edges, just a little. And the way you control the color of that is settings, materials. There's a material called poche. And let's make it black. So if you wanted to just take out a piece of a big building, you can just crop it up real quick. And you can do a lot of things with this section box. You can actually rotate it by clicking this little icon right here. You can rotate the section box around and cut up whatever piece you want of your project. So now let's export this out as a couple different options. So here under CAD formats, you have DWG and SAT, and DGN if you're using MicroStation. The DXF, I just use the DWG for the most part. So in DWG you have a couple options. File naming, this is more important when you're exporting sheets. You want them to name automatically like your drawing set. It organizes them because you can do multiple files at once. And then export view or sheet into a single file. If you have a sheet with a lot of different views on it, it'll export them and make them X references automatically. Or you can tell it to do this, export each view as a single sheet, and it'll compile them all in a sheet and then put them in your views. And current view or selection, which would allow me to select multiple things. We're just going to do current view. More importantly is the options of exporting the DWG. Your layers, it's probably like the cleanest CAD file you'll ever see. Like everything's on the proper layers as long as you model them on the right categories. And then you can use different layer settings. And you can load predefined settings, so they have one that exports out to the AIA standard. and then you can make your own. Like for our office, we had to make our own custom because we deviate a little bit from the AIA standard, but it's the AIA standard, I'd say, put us like 85% there. This stuff's kind of boring for you guys, but you'll appreciate it one day. Line type scaling for CAD drawings. We'll use the project's units, and this is the system units. But really what's all that spiel was for this. Export as a polymesh or export as ACES solids. We'll do ACES solids, which is NURBS, or closed NURBS. And I'll just export it out to the desktop for now. And we'll save that out. And then let's do that again with the polymesh. You also have a couple other export possibilities. You have a walkthrough, which is an animation. You can kind of animate your camera. I've never really done that before in Revit. ODBC database, which is a database of your whole entire Revit file. You could open that up in Excel and start to quantify different things. A lot of estimators will take Revit files, open up an ODBC database, and start to extract quantities. So you can export like you can export the whole Revit file or views from a schedule. Image is a image of the screen. GBXML is green building XML. Mostly goes to environmental analysis softwares, something like Green Building Studio or I'm forgetting the name of this software. It's not Ecotech. IES is a pretty high-end environmental analysis software for like $15,000. So it works on GBXML. Room and area report, that's when you're using like area plans. And then IFC, which is Industry Foundation class, which is used for, it's what the GSA requires in their BIM mandate. So when you submit, when you're doing work for the GSA, you have to submit an IFC file that they run through a software to check if their areas are correct, because they have area requirements on where you're taking your areas from and like how big an office can be and different things like that. And it's an open source format that's used for exchanging BIM files. Digital Project has it as an exporter now. Revit has it. I think MicroStation has it. AutoCAD Architectural Desktop has it. A bunch of different softwares have it. It's really between GBXML and IFC that people are battling back and forth. And Autodesk is always trying to push DWF, which is their proprietary one. Actually, Autodesk originated IFC, but then they're still supporting it, but I think they're devoting a little more energy into DWF. So that's the other export you can do, which is DWF, which is a free viewing platform. You can download Autodesk Design Review, which views DWF files, and they're pretty light and they work pretty well. And then you can save some of your export settings for IFC. The IFC geometry engine is built on STEP, which is a really good, solid geometry, NURBS geometry. But the problem is you can't export it as a STEP file. It's only IFC file. So certain softwares import IFC files, but not that many. Ecotech analysis, like inexpensive, good analysis software, imports IFC files. So that was your BIM dork session. Let me import one of this. Let me open up one of these. So this is the one that I did as solids. And since they were all on one layer, they come in on that single layer, but I think it makes it a block since it was a family. Let's see. Yeah, they are all blocks by default, which is handy if you're going to do things and modify these blocks. I'm not that familiar with Rhino's block editing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I might have to explode it and change it, but this isn't a Rhino class, so we're not going to get into that part. But I'll explode this one so you can see. And these all come in as joined poly meshes, which are really, really clean. I mean, it even has the little insets for the bricks. Everything. So this is a way to start to get your geometry out to build your physical models, or to build, if you want to do cut files to exchange with like full-scale fabrication. Start to get this stuff out, and it's just as precise as the geometry you put in. You can explode these things and take all these different faces.